afternoon, everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, August 11, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Our lives are meant to be a magical manifesting adventure. And in order to experience our greatest magic, power, and freedom, we must become totally free from the grasp of fear. You're never going to be free unless there's no other way. We must choose first to be totally free from the grasp of fear. When our hearts are truly fearless, our soul trusts that it's safe to perpetually open up to life. And nothing, absolutely nothing, feels impossible for you. You can ask anything of this universe, and it is not too much. The fearless being is the most desired, empowered, and beautiful being in the entire universe. Whatever their heart desires instantly begins to manifest into this world. Now, to many people, it may sound crazy, ridiculous, outrageous, yet when you learn how to transform fear, every moment becomes an invitation to meet the divine, which is really who you are. Awaiting within each person is an enlightening, heart-opening, godly experience. Now, the discovery to this fearless freedom begins with one simple step. Approach all fear with fascination. When you meet it with curiosity, life takes you into higher states of expansion instead of deeper limiting sensations of contraction. Fascination makes us become more open, relaxed, and receptive to the magic that is all around us. We naturally want to dive into this life, and this creates more intimacy. And it requires tremendous courage to change our relationship with fear. Yet if you don't fear, will continue to castrate the rest of your life. Pick one day where you're going to create more freedom in your life by meeting your fear with fascination. And whatever may happen to you in these short 24 hours, don't let any fear shrink you, yet allow it to move through you in such a way it creates a transformation inside you. Breathe into your fear. Welcome it. When you say yes to it, it will shift before your very eyes. Now, if and when you can maintain this commitment to yourself for this one day, you might just believe by evening time that you're one of the most fortunate, sacred, amazing beings who are alive on this planet. The possibility of living in doubt, skepticism, and resistance in this life will always be there. And each moment, fear can sneak in and take on one of these disguises. Doesn't mean you have to pay attention to it. You can choose to ignore any fear energy or feeling that you sense growing inside you and breathe beyond it. Simply take a look underneath the contracted fear-based energy And you'll see that it's an angel in disguise, simply there to help you create deeper roots of love. Fear has this very special and sacred job in our lives. It is going to make sure we don't die without feeling ridiculously alive. Now, if you're not pouncing on your life mission, taking the risk to open your heart to love every day, believing in the impossible, and reaching for the miraculous, then fear will do its job, start eating at you. We need fear here. We need it there. Yet we don't have to live in it. If our world was completely without the concept of fear, we would all be zombies. We would. There would be no courage or vigilance of awareness. We wouldn't be very accurate at focusing our precious attention and intention on what makes our heart truly sing. When you stop feeding fear, as we all do it, none of us are exempt from it, fear can feed you. It's just energy. And when you find out how to welcome it in with curiosity, what does it do? Sharpens your focus, clarifies your intentions, and makes your whole body-mind super passionate about what you want to get out of this life. Now, my invitation for you this week, this coming week, is no small matter. It will most likely shake you to your roots. That is what it means to do so, that the real metamorphosis can begin. Now, all the stuff going on this planet, all the things, you can't ignore the fear. It's everywhere. It's there. Some of us are able to just don't care to interact with it. So we give it a big hug and it moves on by. Others, man, they embrace it heavy duty. So what we do is we start focusing, which clarifies our intentions. And we stop resisting fear. Many of us kind of run from it, and we start welcoming it in. You know, we have choices. We have choices to ride the hungry tiger or be eaten by it. Many of us are eaten by it. But when you ride it, you will actually enjoy everything about life again. The hungry tiger is fear. And your choice, you ask yourself, do I ride it or do I get eaten by it? We're all running away from ourselves, one way, shape, form, or another. Yet whatever parts we are running away from, always end up becoming what we run towards at some point in this lifetime or the next. Isn't it interesting? We spend most of our lives, we spend a lot of our lives in the beginning to get away from the womb and then the rest of our lives trying to get back in. So we choose how to embrace our fear, love our fear, and you will form a deeper spiritual respect for this life. You will appreciate all variations of this life and not just be seeking to have easy, good days. Find what it is you truly fear. Love, intimacy, success, failure, whatever it is, invite it in. See how all of our ancient phobias instantly flip around and become waves of enthralling fascination. You have fun. You can look forward to each meeting you have with fear, and when you do, you truly mastered the game. See, our transition, major evolution on this planet, we are all so deeply consumed by this world every day. From the moment we open our eyes in the morning, the mind kicks in, and we are flooded with all sorts of beliefs, emotions, and desires. It can become very easy in this day and age. Well, to what? How many people do you believe, right in this very now, are completely overwhelmed, lost, or confused? And see, we don't, maybe some of us do, but I think the majority, I believe the majority don't. We are constantly dealing with a massive amount of information and social pressure every day. Aren't we? Pressures with finances, relationships, love life, family, work, health problems are at the foundation. And then there's our newly found, continually finding technological relationships with the cell phone, internet, texting. You know this, that many of us may spend half our day just trying to figure out how to get through it alive. Now, this technological era we're in, which you haven't seen anything yet at all, it's child's play right now. It is so captivating that we can easily miss out on the connection with our amazing spiritual existence. Think about it, right? We see it. I mean, you're watching, right? Not judging, just watching. And it's inevitable. If you're out and about, course of your day, you'd be driving and you're traveling and you look, and there's people, they have passengers, right? And where's their face? In their phone. Right? And you could be at any restaurant. Oh, dinner time, 6:30, 7:30. And you can drive by any city, and main strip, and there's restaurants here and there. And you look in the window, and you see lit up faces. You don't see people talking most of the time with each other. You see people texting. That's just one of the examples on how we easily miss out on the connection with our amazing spiritual existence. If we were surrounded every day by people whose only interest was in achieving enlightenment, our world would be very, very, very different in this very moment. Yet, we have chosen a planet where everyone is still deeply asleep to their divine enlightened nature. In fact, we are all so asleep that we don't even know that we are asleep. Have you met people? You know, and it's not negative there. It's just what you view and what you watch. But you meet people that they're really adamant about being awake and aware and knowing this and knowing that, make statements, talk about this and that. And then they say something, and you get confused because, well, wait a minute, they were okay, and they're awake and they're aware and they know this and that, and then they go through a sentence or a paragraph in communication with you, and you go, they're asleep, but they don't know it. And there's those of us who are asleep, period. So you don't know, you're not knowing anything, you're asleep. Then there's those of us who believe that they're awake, but are asleep. Then there's us that know we're awake and continually expand ourselves. So in other words, we're kids constantly learning. And we are kids, okay? Well, that's why I talk about childlike curiosity, putting it front and center. You probably remember when you were a kid, some of us would ask questions over and over and over again to bigger bodies. We would ask questions. What are you doing? Well, I'm washing my car. Why are you washing your car? Well, because it's dirty. Why is it dirty? Well, because I drove and it was raining and it got muddy and I wanted to wash it. What are you using to wash it? What is that? Well, it's suds. It's soap. What's it made of? You know, get my drift there? We continually, as kids, we were questioning and asking. That's how we learned. And we're always curious. Well, do you honestly believe that the child in every one of us is gone? That's a complete misconception. That child is front and center. It's in us. Now, when we grow up, right? And then life, and then responsibilities and all the other stuff. We don't have time to be kids because we have to be serious because life is serious. Isn't that see? So that's programming. So many of us take this life way too serious. Way too serious. And it's not negative, okay? What it is it's a discovery about ourselves. As I said this quite a few times in my talks, and that's, you're driving along, maybe you have a park in your, somewhere around, or a playground with swings, or, and you know, it's funny, us adults won't, because we're worried or stressed that someone will see us and think that we're ridiculous. I'm not kidding you. There's a lot of people, they won't open up their hearts and just say, I'm going to go over there, I'm going to sit in that swing. Or I'm going to slide down that slide. But we're big people. We don't do that. And this is why we take this part of the reason our program is taking this life way too seriously. How many people, you know, during the course of the week, do you really, and I'm not talking about partying and stuff, but just are doing simple things just to enjoy life? Like swinging on a swing, sitting on a park bench, just being in nature. We don't do that because, you know why? Because we're so stressed on what? Surviving. This is what we do. We survive. How do we survive? Well, we earn the right to live. We earn the right to live. That's what we do. You argue it with your ego mind all you want, but we have to, in order to want to live, you want to live? Earn the right to live. So what does that mean? You've got to earn money in order to live. Money's wonderful. But see what happens with us, we are so mired in all the lower frequencies that what do we say? What do people say? How often have you heard it? They say they believe that money is the root of all evil, that money's bad. And that is like having a horrible argument with someone you love. Okay? That's what that's like. And that's like pushing it away as it's doing everything it can to flow to you. So in actuality, but this is how we've been programmed, and this is part of melting that programming, disintegrating it completely and permanently. So you shift gears and say, money is wonderful. Money is absolutely beautiful, fantastic. It's wonderful energy. But there are those who choose to be evil. And they convince, in the program, because they're programming everyone as well. So in the programming, you're convinced of that. There's a lot of people convinced of that. So what does that do? That creates what? Fear of money. And many people have it and they don't even know it. Fear of money. Should they do everything they can not to have money, but on the surface are wanting it all the time? Isn't that wild? And as St. Teresa of Avila said, any real ecstasy is a sign you are moving in the right direction. Do not let any prude tell you otherwise. See, a lot of people will be bouncing along, okay? And they come in contact with somebody. I mean, they're happy. They're bouncing along. They're a high frequency, good energy. They feel great about something. Or maybe just nothing. They just feel great. And then they come across somebody that's about in the sewer with thoughts and vibrational frequency. And they go, why are you so happy? Just them. No reason to be happy on this planet. It sucks. Everything's going to end. You see the difference? You see the difference in feeling those frequencies? Now, what can you do? What do you do? Well, if you're aware, you don't take affront at that. You understand that they're under a lot of duress. So you just choose to just let it float, just fall right off your back. You aren't going to engage it. Why would you engage it? You wouldn't. It's not you. It's what's going on inside of them. Has nothing to do with you. So this is another part of for us being aware and becoming more aware of many things. It's part of our reprogramming that we have decided to do for ourselves. Now you can imagine, right? I know that a lot of you have seen this, experienced it. You've tried your best, done your best to convey information to others. Now, human beings are sleepwalking through this life. You see, and meaning that we are always plugged into the mind. And the veil is so thick and the pattern so deep that we need to use everything we've got to wake up. This means using everything you can find outside of you and inside of you. We're all here. We're all deciding. We decide, to do certain things for ourselves. And more of us are deciding on our own that a lot of our direction is becoming deeper and deeper within to find God. And things will show up. When you go into that, and the outside of you, things are going to show up. Now, it may not mean anything to anybody around you, but to you, they show up. And they're a sign. Could be a sign. Could be someone waving at you. It could be anything. Where you're driving at the time. And it kind of goes ping, or some people call it an epiphany moment. So we use the smell of the divine, right? We touch, taste, feel, hear, and even breathe in the smell of the divine. So we use every moment of our free time to find deep silence, stillness, and inner peace, so we can connect deeper with the divine. Does that make sense? Use any means you need to assist you. Sometimes you'll be reading something. It could be a paper, a magazine, whatever. Or it could be on a wall. But sometimes you're reading something, right? And it just hits you. Something you read, something, boom. So you notice how its spiritual message is just for you. No one else. It's just for you. Now then you'll move into that you'll feel like you might be making some form of connection to God. As soon as you have that feeling, breathe that feeling deeply into your body. Stop everything and give this experience all that you got. Because it might not last long. Notice how the feeling resonates with what's going on in your life. Find the practical aspects. Like, how does this sign, or how does this, what I'm reading in this book or magazine, advertisement, give me the deepest guidance I'm needing in my relationships right now? We all know there's no coincidences. That word was invented on this planet to push things away or to describe things away that we didn't understand. And you see, God is always wrapped around us, within us. We only have synchronicity in this life. Everything is perfect, and everything is divinely aligned. And the God source never, ever, ever, ever makes mistakes. And when you're 100% devoted to finding total alignment with the divine and everything around you, the magic will its way into you. Now we all come across at times, half-assed skeptical seekers. Huh? The protective pessimist. or the mind addict that is super smart intellectual. They won't find it, they won't discover enlightenment. Because enlightenment is for that ordinary being, whatever ordinary is, right? Who has devoted their entire heart and soul to something beyond this world. It's for that simple soul who wants to create the deepest, healthiest relationship with themselves and the God source. The biggest difference of all, perhaps, is that their connection with God is their highest priority all throughout the day. So, how many of us are open to exploring our connection with the divine this week? Chances are, you're probably wondering what's the right way, how to do it. Or are feeling hesitant, reluctant, or thinking that maybe this week, it's not the right time. There will always be super important things in our eyes which we need to do. Yet the reality is that our souls have been waiting and waiting and waiting for real spiritual liberation for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. And yes, we have been preparing for a profound spiritual experience forever. We are all here as brothers and sisters to let go of everything and find our real connection to the divine again, the God source, the kingdom of God, the heaven, source creator, which is you, the real you in that body, which never changes, is divine perfection, omnipotently powerful supreme being that never dies. That's the real you. When we discover the awareness behind every thought that we're thinking, the awareness of it, okay, that we're thinking, you come closer to the most sacred intelligence in this universe. And this is who you truly are. And the funny thing is, there's only one thing stopping us from seeing, feeling, and knowing that God is here now, and we all know what that is, right? Our own mind. You can see as we connect the dots or build the puzzle, as we snap the puzzle pieces in place and the picture starts to become clear. This is what we're doing. How many of us can do this, right? When I was running Circle of Light meetings years ago, and we didn't have a lot of people. We had maybe 15, 20. But we started those all over the world. Some of them are still going. So, and just kind of visualize this. How many of us, the next time we're in front of a mirror, that first, we will look non-judgmentally into the mirror. All right? And then notice, what do you see? Now, we used to do this experiment. We would have a mirror, and we would put it in front of each one of us and ask to just, what do you see? Non-judgmentally. Oh, look at my hair. Look at my skin. Look at my eyes. You know, look at my wrinkles. Look at my neck. That means, you know, that's judgmentally, but non-judgmentally mirror. Do you see, now, do you think they see how amazing, multidimensional, and extremely beautiful they truly are? It's like, let's say a lady puts on a dress, which is a rarity these days. Let's say a gal puts on a dress, and she's going out at a dinner with her man, and she looks at herself in the mirror, and she goes, oh, I hope he likes it, and, you know, okay, it fits here well, okay, look how does my backside look, and that type of thing. So she's hoping to get a compliment from him. Okay? Now, when he doesn't give her a compliment, she begins to feel that she is not beautiful. Right? That the dress isn't that great. It's a common response. Okay? But now, if she were to look into the mirror non-judgmentally, she would see how amazing, multidimensional, and extremely beautiful she truly is. Then, when she was greeted with her man, it wouldn't make any difference if there was a compliment or not. It's all about you. And I don't mean that in the selfish end. Not about the selfish end. Far from it. It's all about you. It's about you discovering yourself. It's about you wanting to go within and to stay within. Now, most people are going to see what? What are they going to see? Like I said, they're going to see all of their flaws, shortcomings, right? Oh, my face, la, la, la. If the mind is not set aside, we can only see and hear what it thinks is good and bad. The mind can be extremely judgmental. Have you ever been really extremely judged by somebody? So we cling to all sorts of opinions about right and wrong. So as long as we over-identify with and attach to opinions of good and bad, we cannot spiritually awaken. This isn't an awakening on this planet. Oh, hey, Bub, I can see you now. This is an awakening of the spirit, the God that you are. This is a God-sent awakening of planet Earth. How do you believe that we will have a God planet paradise? The mind can be extremely judgmental, and this is pure entertainment for the ego. How many times have you ever heard people say, man, I'm bored. You bored? Yeah, I'm bored. What do you want to do? You might have did it as a kid. You might do it on occasion. So people very, very, very much dislike being bored. So we cling to all sorts of opinions about right and wrong. As long as we are over-identified with and attached to opinions of good and bad, we cannot spiritually awaken. Just remember that all of this life is absolutely a grand play. And the nature of the mind is to create contrasts and comparisons. The mind doesn't like the gray middle path. And when the mind is too empty, it seeks something juicy to fill it. What are we doing? We're letting go of filling up the mind and finding the spiritual being that we are. And this is done in silence and stillness, exactly what we do in these meditations, within. Now, interestingly, our hearts are not judgmental at all. The heart only loves, accepts, and embraces what is. Don't ever, ever, ever trust the mind. Ever. Trust your heart instead. That's a huge heads up. Don't trust the mind ever. Trust your heart instead. Be free of the mind and just remain in the heart. And you will soon, in time, find the divine. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, focused on the breath rising and falling. Our happiness is a choice. Sometimes things don't go exactly according to our ego's plans. We then have a choice how we wish to react. We can try to control things and experience a lack of trust. Or we can simply choose to trust in the process and be happy. Whatever you choose today, remember that happiness is always the best choice. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. And we will return here Monday, August 12, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening outside of you nor within you. Open your hearts and allow the magic to flow in.